Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, a production brought to you by third-year sports journalism students from the University of South Wales. I'm your host, Michael Addison, and coming up in today's show, we speak to Nick Kenny ahead of the 2026 World Darts Championship and chat with Cardiff RFC fly half Lloyd Lucas about his first senior season. But first, today's news headlines. Steve Tandy has named his starting 15 for the Autumn International Series match against South Africa. Aaron Wainwright is back fit, whilst Tom Rogers, who scored a hat-trick against New Zealand, is unavailable due to a hamstring injury. Merthyr's Gavin Gwynn returns to action on Saturday night as he rematches Cameron Vong over 10 rounds in Birmingham. The pair last met last November, where the Englishman claimed a unanimous decision win after a gruelling 30-minute contest. After being promoted to the County Championship Division 1 last season, Glamorgan County Cricket start their campaign at Sophia Gardens against Yorkshire on the 3rd of April. Wales Under-21's women's hockey team head to Chile for the Junior World Cup in December, but before they reached the tournament, the side had to rely on crowdfunding to secure their participation. Harry Tovey reports.
2025 has been a memorable year for women's sports here in Wales, from European Championship appearances in the summer to Rugby World Cup appearances in England. But this story takes us to hockey, where Wales Under-21's hockey side will be appearing in Santiago, Chile at the World Cup this month. But their story to the tournament is rather remarkable.
The team needed to crowdfund to ensure their participation alongside the 23 other nations competing. They set a £40,000 target, which covers the costs such as travel, accommodation and expenses when in South America.
Well, it's been amazing. It's hard to say who the key people are because I think we're up to over 800 different donors. So it really has been a community effort. We've been trying to push the point that every £5–10 matters. And you can really see that when it comes together, and you've raised over £30,000 towards the girls going. The girls have been absolutely incredible in their fundraising efforts. We set them a personal target each to raise, and they've been amazing with what they've been not only doing on the pitch, but the efforts they've put in off the pitch in raising awareness, sharing things on their social media, speaking to key people in their lives, but also approaching businesses, getting personal sponsors. It really has been a whole community effort.
But support for international sides, including Wales Hockey Under-21s, needs to continue beyond competing in Chile.
Absolutely, yeah. There's more on the horizon across the hockey programme, not just for the Under-21s. Both our senior men and women team have qualified to take part in the World Cup qualifiers. So there's more to come. So yeah, absolutely, we need to keep going with the momentum that this campaign's really gained.
To continue their success on the field, sides such as Wales Under-21s may not need to rely on crowdfunding their way to a World Cup in the not too distant future. Like any team, they'll face financial hurdles, but efforts to secure sponsorship, government support can ensure their success in what has been a landmark year for women's sport.
Absolutely, we're very grateful for the support that we get from both the National Lottery and from the Welsh Government. We do have some sponsors. We're hoping that not only the awareness from what we've been doing with the crowdfunding campaign, but also just the fact that these girls are going to play in a World Cup will bring some awareness in, and hopefully everybody is backing women's sport at the moment and loving the journey that different teams are on.
But as the side has swapped the cold December in Wales to a more favourable, warmer conditions in Chile this month, they start on Tuesday evening when they take on Belgium in their opening match of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, whichever group we went into, it's going to be tough. We're going into the tournament ranked 20 out of 24, but having both Argentina and Belgium in the group makes it a particularly tough group to be facing. So yeah, it will just, it's an amazing opportunity for the girls, however we do. And there'll be plenty of challenges both within the group stage and then whichever bracket we move on to.
Now to darts, where Nicky Kenny states it's the best time to be a tour card holder ahead of the World Darts Championship, which gets underway in 13 days.
Cumbrian's Nick Kenny is preparing for his 4th Professional Darts Corporation World Championship at Alexandra Palace this December, a venue he'll head to knowing he's guaranteed £15,000 in prize money. This is due to the PDC doubling the World Championship prize fund to £5 million, with the winner receiving £1 million.
Last year obviously was half of that, and I won to get in the last 64 to get 15, but yeah, from that tournament onwards, PDC have put up prize money in every event, and it's just it's the best time ever to be a tour card holder, and it looks like my tour card's going to be safe. I don't have that pressure going into Ali Pali this year, and fingers crossed, you know, I can win a couple of games again, and obviously there's more money if I was to get to similar stages.
The Welshman qualifies for the tournament after the best season yet as a professional, with some noticeable runs in the Players' Championship event, in which he made the 64-man finals event at Butlins Minehead last month.
I only had, with getting the tour card last minute, and the first year I didn't get to Ali Pali, and this is my second stint as a tour card, so it was my third year in my second stint. So first year I was only won 13.5 grand, wasn't great at all. But last year then winning I had a better floor year, a good European tour, and then obviously the 25 grand at Ali Pali got me to like 59. So I was defending 13 this year, and by April I was defending. I did well at the World Masters. I won a few. You know, I got the last qualifying game against Watamina, a semi-final then in Germany in the Pro Tour, hitting huge averages, getting to board finals regular. Where the year before last, I wasn't even getting to the board finals. I think the best run was probably a board final instead of last 16th. But I think it was a stat early on. I was up there on most board finals or board wins, which is such a confidence boost.
But what about his thoughts ahead of being one of the 128 players competing for the world title over the festive period?
A perfect world championship would be getting to the top 50 really, which I just give myself a bit of a boost going into next year, because obviously I'll be defending 59 next year. But perfect it wouldn't be to win it, wouldn't it? But you know, you've got to be realistic. You know, I've got a game to sort of beat all the top players. You've got to have a lot of luck. Just play well, always give a good account of myself, and just win the first game.
The 26-year-old takes on England's Justin Hood for a spot in round 2.
I am now joined in the studio by Ethan Harris, who's here to talk about the World Darts Championship draw, which took place this week. So Ethan, talking about the World Darts Championship, there's 2 Welsh players in the draw. Can you talk to me more about them, please?
Well, it's going to be fascinating. I mean, we'll touch on the Iceman in a moment, but you've got to start with the ferret, Johnny Clayton. I mean, he's ebbed his way now into the world number 5 position, so he's had a really good year. He plays Adam Lipscomb in the first round in December. And what I would say is he's had a really strong season. He's won the Dutch Darts Championship, he's won a few players' titles, and he averaged 109.7 on one occasion, so clearly he is up to it. But the big story, it's got to be the 40-year-old David Davis, right? An NHS nurse from Denbigh, who only got into darts a few years ago. You know, he's made it through the qualifying stage, and he takes on Mario van Bogart of Belgium, and even if he gets knocked out in the first round, it's going to be £15,000.
Talking about Gerwyn Price now, do you think he's got a realistic chance of winning the World Darts Championship this year?
Well, he takes on Adam Gaulash of the Czech Republic. He's 9th in the world at the moment, and I think he's got a real good opportunity. He's won 3 Premier League titles, and he's won a number of players' titles as well, so anything can happen.
Thank you, Ethan. Now, rising Welsh rugby star Lloyd Lucas is playing his first season of senior rugby. We caught up with the 18-year-old to discuss his season so far.
Well, Lloyd, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's get your thoughts then on the season so far here at Cardiff RFC.
Yeah, so we went away to RGC, first game, and you know, RGC is never an easy place to go. So it was a good 6 points on the road for us. And then we had a bit of a blip then. Obviously, we had the Carmarthen Quins game and then the Ebu game. And that Ebu game, I think especially, that hurt us as a group. It really did. And we had a proper realisation of what it means to play for Cardiff. And so yeah, and then to be fair, from there, we've just been on a progression.
Talk to me about that step up, from age grade rugby to senior rugby.
Yeah, obviously, well, it's a big step up physically and mentally. You get less time on the ball. You got grown men running at you. You're gonna have to tackle them. So it's a massive step up physically and mentally, but it's a good challenge.
You know, at the moment in Welsh rugby, there's not a lot of positives. The positives perhaps are the youngsters. You're one of them. What is it like, being a young Welsh rugby player at the moment?
Yeah, it's exciting because the future's bright for us youngsters, and a lot more time going into the academies and stuff like that. So it's really exciting for us youngsters moving forward.
Lastly then, Lloyd, have you set some goals for the rest of the season?
Well, a goal would be a 20s cap. that'd be massive for me. And a bigger goal would to win the league with Cardiff. That'd mean everything to me.
Next up, we head over to our student spotlight. We caught up with second-year student Jonathan Graham as he's talked about the moment he wanted to be a sports journalist.
I'm Jonathan Graham, and I'm a student at University of South Wales doing BA Sports Journalism. I've always just loved sport growing up. I've always had an older brother playing sport. My father loves sports, and then I've always kind of followed football and rugby. And then I've also really enjoyed the sort of writing aspect, not even just in sport, but also just writing. So then when it comes to sort of combining my two sort of interests and hobbies together, it just felt like a sort of perfect kind of scenario. When you get like to an age like 15, 16, like, well, I'm obviously probably not going to make it professionally, obviously, but then sort of still being in that field of being like sort of still part of it is just what really interested me. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what it is, really. Just as long as I'm still a part of it, that's all I really care about. As I said, well, I did a lot of English growing up, a lot of writing, and then being able to sort of combine what my favorite hobby is doing and what I've played and watched growing up, and then adding to that as well. I just feel like it is the the perfect sort of role for me, really. I feel like it was kind of made for me, essentially. Well, on this course, I had the opportunity to go to Cardiff games, Swansea games, even Wales at the Six Nations of the Principality, and that's just like great. That's just for our first year. I think it's so great to watch. Like the game was not fantastic as a Wales fan, but having that sort of opportunity and the experience of going there, watching the game in a seat where not many people have sat, doing a thing that you really enjoy doing, and that's what the university sort of gave me the opportunity to do.
Now we'll quickly show you what is coming up on the next show at 3:30.
Punches chance.
And finally, the songs Fix You by Coldplay and Pink Pony Club by Chapel Rowan have helped the Cardiff Arms Park-based male choir group gain more online followers than two of the four rugby professional regions here in Wales.
At the Cardiff Arms Park, teams train on the 3G pitch whilst the choir rehearses upstairs in the Sir Gareth Edwards Lounge ahead of a busy festive period. But the traditional male choir has grown a strong presence on TikTok with more than the Dragons and Scarlets on the social media platform, with some of the videos nearing 2 million views and over 500,000 likes.
So we first realised the choir was having this big following after because we've been on TikTok for quite a few years, but one of our videos all of a sudden had about few thousands, and then a few hundred thousands, and then over 1 million views on some of our videos.
Our musical director has picked up and taken some of the things on TikTok, and the reach has just been flabbergasting to think that they've had over 6 million odd views. It's just it's hard to get your head around, really, but great to be a part of, exciting.
Explaining to older men that we were on TikTok, they didn't know we were on TikTok anyway, but explaining to them we're on TikTok and we're having thousands of comments and millions of views was just, they couldn't believe it. Absolutely mind blown, and they just, actually a lot of them are now on TikTok just to see what the fuss is about, really.
It is a group that is united by sport, songs and togetherness.
Thank you for tuning in to this afternoon's A Game of Two Halves. I've been your host, Michael Addison, and for myself and the team, thank you and goodbye.